pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey kids, it's Nurse Julie here. Just wanted to reach out and talk to you just a little bit about some things that I know we've already talked about, but about illness prevention. As you know, we have a lot of sickness going around. It's still cold and flu season, but we also have additional sickness that is out right now that is called the coronavirus or COVID, and you may hear it known as COVID-19. So just talking a little bit about that, I want to let you know that we continue to do the things that we do during cold and flu season. And you guys know what those are. We are going to wash our hands appropriately, at least 20 seconds. And you know those times. Before you eat, after you go to the restroom, after you're playing with an animal, and especially after you cough or sneeze into your hands. And speaking of coughs and sneezes, remember, we don't cover with our hands, we cover with our elbow. So if you have to cough or sneeze into your elbow. Also, we want you to stay home if you're sick, especially if you're running a fever or coughing. And one last thing for prevention of illness, let's try our best not to touch our face. I've talked to you about not touching the T-zone. Imagine a capital T on your face. It goes like this and like this. Your eyes are in your T-zone and your nose and mouth are in your T-zone. So make sure, do not touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. And it's also best to not touch your face at all. I know that's difficult, but we need to try because that's how the germs get into our bodies, through our mouths, through our nose, or even through our eyes. So let's try our best to practice not touching our face.
In the midst of the COVID-19 epidemic, people around the world are struggling to do something really basic. They're trying to figure out how to greet one another. Because the coronavirus that causes the disease is spread through droplets, those of us in affected areas are being told to minimize close physical contact with each other. So, that's a no to shaking hands, fist bumping is still a risk, and hugging or kissing is out of the question. A Maori tribe in New Zealand is asking its members to avoid the traditional hongi, the touching of noses. This has led to the rise of some alternative greeting methods. Popular on the internet are the foot shake and the elbow bump. One problem with the elbow shake is that we're also being told to stifle our sneezes in our elbows if we can't quickly find a tissue to cover our mouths. And the Director General of the World Health Organization says even these greetings place you within 1 meter or about 3 feet of another person. Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus says he prefers to greet people these days by putting his hand on his heart. And there are other non-contact greetings to choose from. How about India's customary namaste? Or Thailand's Y? Or what some people in China are doing, the gong show. Former US Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang even suggested the Vulcan salute, made famous by Mr. Spock from Star Trek. Or, if that's too difficult, you can make a peace sign. Some businesses are also greeting customers with a welcoming squirt of hand sanitizer. Finally, you can avoid any sort of physical interaction and just simply greet someone by saying hello. So, with all these options available, and probably a lot of time to try them as the epidemic continues, what greeting will you choose?
Another thing you may notice, you may see that our water fountains have been covered. And the reason for that is, believe it or not, water fountains are one of the germiest places in a school. They're kind of gross. So we have been spraying them really well, but we decided it was best during this time of increased awareness to cover the water fountains. So we still want you to have plenty of water to drink, so make sure you bring a water bottle from home full to the top every day, and you can sip on that throughout the day while we're not using our water fountains. And last but not least, I want to talk just a little bit more about coronavirus or COVID-19. The main symptoms are high fever, coughing, and shortness of breath. and those are similar to the regular flu. So if you or anyone in your family has those symptoms, fever, coughing, shortness of breath, it's best to isolate yourself, take care of yourself, and not go out into public. And especially don't come to school if you're exhibiting any of those symptoms. So again, we want everybody at PUE to be healthy and to be able to be here at school and for us to finish out our year healthy and happy. So thanks for listening to me. Have a good day.
Good morning.
Good morning, boys and girls. Ms. Lee and I are here to give you some tips for the diagnostic testing.
We're going to get that started next week on Monday with your reading test and then your math test on Wednesday. So we want to make sure that you have some great strategies in place so that you can show growth and do your best.
Boys and girls, you want to remember to get plenty of rest. That may mean you have to go to bed a little bit early, stop playing your video games sooner, but also set that alarm so you can get up early.
You also want to make sure to persevere. It's a big word, guys, but what it means is to make sure that you see the test all the way through. If it gets hard, just keep on trucking. You want to make sure that you do your best.
Boys and girls, you also want to make sure that you get a healthy breakfast. So that means getting to school before 7:40 so you can get to the cafeteria to get that great breakfast that they prepare for you.
That's right. You also want to make sure to read all of the directions. You can't answer the question correctly if you do not know what it's asking you to do.
And boys and girls, you also want to make sure that you eliminate answers that you know are incorrect. So that means you're going to read everything very carefully and you're going to take your time to select the right answer.
That's right. And you also want to make sure you answer every question to the best of your ability. You can't do that if you're just clicking, so you have to make sure that you are taking your time, trying your hardest so that you can rock this test.
I came to test, 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 test. I'm gonna pass 'cause I'm the best, 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 best. I'm rocking this from east to west, 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 west. Ride it out, then I can rest, 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 rest. Yeah, yeah, this test goes on and on and on. And it goes on and on and on. Yeah, gonna bring my learning to myself this time. Saying ayo, gonna let go. I wanna celebrate and do it right. Saying ayo, baby, let's go. We gon' rock this test, we gon' do it right. We gon' light it up like it's dynamite. Gonna rock it once, no need to take it twice. We gon' light it up like it's dynamite. I came to soar, 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 soar. Now watch me swagger through the door, 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 door. Baby, let's go. I wanna celebrate and do it right. Saying ayo, baby, let's go. We gon' rock this test, we gon' do it right. We gon' light it up like it's dynamite. We gon' rock it once, no need to take it twice. We gon' light it up like it's dynamite. Gonna work so long, light little